Space Marine 2 just works. Even with the repetitive combat and somewhat short story, something in which I've missed in video games, everything comes together just right. The character and world are all serious to match this grim dark future we play in. This is something I feel like a lot of modern games have been missing lately. The stoicism of the characters and seriousness of the events happening feel as though they actually hold some type of weight. But on top of everything, this game knows what's most important: being cool. Starting off with the characters, specifically the three you go through the story with. You would think by looking at this game that these characters would be somewhat generic or play backseat to the action happening around them, but I really don't think so. Each of them are stoic to the point when it breaks you realize something is wrong. Look at Chiron for example. When he encounters the heretics and becomes filled with rage and goes off by himself, jeopardizing the whole mission just because he couldn't control his emotions, Titus is pissed and even Galadriel is confused. When confronted, Titus tells him that his personal vendettas mean nothing against the Emperor's will. This is a perfect example that having a simple premise for characters can work. It all goes back to duty and honor meaning everything for these characters. I feel like stoicism in modern games is pretty much gone lately. Everything needs some snarky joke or humorous moment to break up tension, but why not sit in it instead? This can go for the main character Titus as well. Both Chiron and Galadriel are very suspicious of Titus at first, and they'll sometimes bring up his past before a mission starts, but Titus will brush it off and basically tell them that the mission at hand comes first, and they'll actually fall in line focusing on the mission instead of trying to dig for information throughout. I just really like how these characters aren't overly emotional and for the most part can control themselves instead of letting their emotions control them. The gameplay is very basic, but this is not a bad thing at all. In fact, I think it's very beneficial for this type of game. In reality, it feels like a bunch of horde modes and set arenas with some boss fights sprinkled in. I feel like it wants you to have more cool moments instead of having complex mechanics. From fighting the hordes and hordes of enemies feeling like a three-man army to the brutal executions, everything just feels awesome to play. To emphasize more on the executions, I never really got tired of performing these moves. I felt for the most part it cycled through the different executions enough to not really get stale throughout the runtime, and they're just long enough for you to catch your breath since it makes you invincible. Circling back to the hordes, just having those moments where you see all of them running towards you and start to climb up some wall was crazy the first time you seen it. It's like, damn, I'm really about to fight all these? I think that the first time that this happened was in the tutorial mission. It was just so cool to see. It really made me feel like I needed to lock in real quick and definitely played into that power fantasy since you were alone facing the horde. Then there's the weapons. The sound design of the shooting and reloading all feel very heavy and pronounced, even down to the pistols. And it goes well with the same feeling of weight from your armor. Each step are like huge stomps and each melee attack looks like it packs a punch from the metal gauntlets you're wearing. Even though these weapons may look and feel powerful, they're not. It takes like 2 or 3 whole mags of headshots to take down the bigger enemies that aren't the little grub guys, and damn near all the bullets in your gun to take down the special enemies. And I honestly don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, it's pretty annoying to be low on ammo all the time. On the other, it makes you feel like you're actually fighting for your lives. On the topic of fighting for your lives, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like my health was always low, like less than a quarter low. And it made each fight feel way more intense since I was on the verge of death all the time. Let me know if y'all health was constantly low or maybe I was just trash. But I played on veteran difficulty because I'm a true son of Gilliman, not a weak bitch. Now I know I'm talking about how these games make the basics work, but one thing that's furthest from the basic is these environments. Each map has crazy backgrounds to look at while ripping through enemies. Not only that, but they're super busy, like a lot of shit going on. There's 2 in particular I really like, which are the ones from the mission Decapitation and the last mission. You can literally see the war going on around you. I just think it's really cool and immerses you deeper into the game. Everything is just so dramatic and grand. The only way I could describe these maps and backdrops is beautifully brutal. You can tell these environments used to look really good before they became covered by blood and heretics. The simplicity in these environments come from how linear they are. A lot of games lately try to be some kind of open world with endless exploration and stuff to find, so it's honestly refreshing to have a clear path through the story. Even the multiplayer co-op and PvP modes are simple. For co-op, you just cycle through missions on harder and harder difficulties while earning sick new armor and colors for one of the classes of your choosing. The only downfall is there aren't more missions right now and can get pretty stale quickly after beating them all. I know they already have a roadmap and more missions are going to get added, but right now, for me, I'm starting to get a bit bored of them. But on the other hand, if you don't really have time, it's perfect to just jump in, do a mission or 2 and leave. The game is perfect for a more casual player with less time. This game has shown that simplicity can still work and not every game needs complex mechanics or some esport level multiplayer. It's shown that games can just be simple fun. I've had so much fun playing, in fact, that it made me want to learn more about the rest of the Warhammer lore, and it's honestly starting to get me hooked and wanting more. The only thing I'm waiting on now are the next set of missions and the new show coming out that has the Warhammer episode. Hopefully the developers don't fuck up, but I honestly don't think they will, with how much communication there's already been between them and the community. Unless a battle pass comes out and it has missions or weapons in it, then all of a sudden you'll see me cursing the Emperor's name.